No.
Complaining. Here's what he does.
So if anybody wants to know how to add the calendar to their Google Calendar, I can, they can go back here.
Oh, yeah. What a good idea. I thought everybody had done that.
Nance, because that message came through weird, I hadn't seen it. Do you need to talk about that?
I called Daniel, I called 2 other brokers, and I called my CPA.
What did they say?
Her boyfriend.
Tell your clients to suck it up.
Yeah, I mean, she's selling it for $255, which is $5,000 over asking, and she's mad because she's paying $4,000 of their closing costs. So Daniel and I figured out, and along with the other people, that as long as she is netting less than $250, then she's not going to have to pay capital gains.
Wait, you don't have to pay capital gains if you sell a house for less than $250 under 2 years?
No, not under 2 years. She's lived there over 2 years.
She doesn't have to pay capital gains anyway. You don't pay capital gains after 2 years.
As long as it's under 250 profit. It has to be.
I guess it has to be under 250. I think it has to do with
the purchase price can be higher than 250 if it's after 2 years. You still don't pay them. It's the I think Duke's right. It's the profit.
It's your profit.
And then so the net, she was still upset about that. Like I haven't talked to her yet. I'm gonna talk to her today, but I was trying to make sure I had everything straight. The grantor's tax, if she's concerned about that, it's 1 cent for $1. So it'll be $4.
No, it's not. It's 1/10 of a cent for $1.
So
yeah, 1/10 of a cent. Yes, 1/10 of a cent.
Yeah. Whatever that is, honey, I'll pay it. You're fine.
Yeah.
So I just did a bunch of research and have all that I can, but I've never had anybody complain about that. But
I mean, yeah. even if it was under 2 years and she had to pay it, it would be a very small number on that amount.
Well,
not getting upset over.
It's weird. I think I've learned that when people have family members who are completely uninvolved in the transaction, they typically think they know more than the agent does.
I had a family member who's like, what? You have to pay taxes on that higher price.
Her fiance.
Oh, well, her fiance's done.
She says was the CPA. So I was like, oh, that made me so nervous. I was
my gosh, whose CPA is he?
I don't know, but
that's terrifying.
I know. So anyway, that was sort of tricky.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that.
But I'm going to call her today. And I got the inspection report. It's got like 4 things total on it. So we're good with that. I mean, they haven't even asked for repairs, but I can't imagine if they do, it's going to be dust particle. But yeah, it's just been really tricky. And then she told me that the house down the street sold in 24 hours, so she assumed it sold for more than asking price. So I called the agent this morning, who was so nice. And she was like, look, I'm not going to tell you what we sold it for, but it is not the asking price. It was under the asking price. Yeah. And it was an end unit.
If they sold it above the asking price, they would definitely tell you.
She told me it was under the asking price.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Daniel, are you eating cereal?
Yeah.
No, eggs.
I thought we were twinsies because I brought my bowl of cereal to the meeting.
I can't even hear the word eggs anymore. Like if I look at another egg, I'm just gonna.
I think I'm just challenged on cooking eggs. I make them horrible, but when I go to Waffle House, they taste like God made them. So,
the secret to eggs. You want to know?
Yes, tell me, please.
Butter.
Cook them in bacon grease.
Oh, anything cooked in bacon grease is amazing.
So you cook your bacon first, and
what?
then you put the eggs in there, and you mix it in, and it's so freaking good.
That's what I said about. He's like, I don't want to mix them, and I was like, because you are not a believer in the heavenly eggs.
Listen, if you want to with your eggs, you can get really creative. Like go into your spice cabinet, pull out some basil, cheese, try different herbs in there. It's really good.
I get bougie with my eggs. Katarina, you know me. That's not a thing.
Miss Cereal over here. Kyla and I had eggs with cheddar cheese and basil in it and ate that with cinnamon raisin bagels, and it was delicious.
I had corn pops. So very nutritious on my end.
Does anyone know a very trustworthy individual who needs to rent in Goochland? I put my duplex on Theo. Hey, enough. Sorry. He's scratching my couch trying to lick his own behind. I put the duplex on Facebook Marketplace, have been blown up. Apparently, Facebook Marketplace is the place to put your rentals.
Yep.
And it's nice because you can stalk the people's profiles. So you're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
looks
And
like
see if
there's
you know anyone in common, all that.
Mhm. Oh yeah. So this is definitely the place to put your rentals. But if anyone knows anyone they trust personally, I'm like really afraid of getting screwed over because our last tenant was from the devil.
Oh no, what happened?
So she was a single mom, and I did not have a great gut feeling about her, but I also felt like I needed to not discriminate. Felt bad for her, and she was a pain to get rent from every single month. She was so terrible to live next to that our long-term tenant who lived on the other side, who was going to be there till she died, moved out. And then one month, the second to last month she was here, she did not give us rent, and she claims that she put it in our mailbox, but she absolutely did not. So I was going to have to sue her if I wanted that money. And then I gave her permission, mostly because I wanted to get rid of her when all this stuff happened. And she's like, I'm out of work. I don't know how I'm going to pay the rent. And I was like, I think you should move back to North Carolina where your mom is, because I don't know how you're going to survive here by yourself. Even if you figure out paying our rent, like how are you going to pay for your other stuff? So we let her out of the lease, which I was like happy to do. But I had to give her a bunch of her earnest money deposit back before she was totally out of the house so that she could afford her U-Haul. Tyler went by, checked the house, said everything looked fine, but she had covered up stuff. So then when we went by, once she was finally moved out, she had left all this crap in the house and there was damage that she had covered. So not only did we lose the rent from the other tenant who moved out because they hated her so much, but we also haven't gotten rent from her in a couple months, and now we have to replace the floors.
How did she cover it up? Just like put a rug or like?
Tyler said like he was like the house looked better when I went and did the final walkthrough with her than it looks now that she.
So she was just like, forget this house. Let me throw my couch against the wall.
There's crap everywhere, and it's like, how did you?
We're not having the best luck with tenants.
No. So now I'm like terrified.
If I know of anyone that wants to be in Goochland, I'll let you know, but I don't right now.
I do have some people who I think could actually be good messaging me. I'm just scared because I don't know them. And most of our other tenants were referrals from like Blue Ridge and stuff who were building.
Why don't you come up with like I guess Daniel could help, but like come up with like legit questions to ask. Like what?
I'm telling every single person, even though I probably won't actually do this, I'm saying we're going to run a background check on all potential tenants. And if anything comes up, you're out. So they'll just tell me right away, like,
bye, I went to jail.
This one girl's like, oh, well, there's multiple DUIs.
It's like, well, as long as you're not going to run your car while you're drunk into my house and
kill
it.
Like, how are you getting to work? Like, that's fine. Like, the DUIs is like, that's not a big deal as far as like.
You're not murdering people.
Yeah, you're like the tenant thing. But so it's her fiance or her boyfriend. It's her and him and their kid. And he has had multiple DUIs since like September. And I was like, how does he get to work? And she said that his mom, this other family member, they all have to like get up every day and take him to work, but he's been going to work.
So I'm going to say don't rent to them because they obviously can't fix their bad habits. But
yeah, I'm like, if you're relying on other people to get to work, that's probably not the most stable situation. where my tenant, that's the nightmare tenant, she ended up telling me at the very end because she asked me to sign for her to get a U-Haul. And I was like, no, I'm not signing for you. Are you insane? That's not what I said. I had a nicer response than that. Because she, quote unquote, found out that her license had been suspended.
Because she got pulled over.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think you just found out.
Some people literally have no idea that they have like a warrant out for their arrest.
She's been
And they
like,
get pulled over.
driving all over the place with a suspended license.
Yeah, like somebody will pull them over because they ran a red light, and the cop will be like, "You have 17 warrants. You should be in jail." And they're like, "What? No idea."
What are you
Anyway.
talking about? Yeah, that was. I'm like, she was a nightmare. A nightmare.
All right. Is everybody here?
We have 17 people. Yeah, I'd say so. Herbie's here.
Daniel,
Hey,
where
Is
are
that
you?
Herbie?
Daniel, are you homeschooling your children right now? Where are
Daniel's
you?
on mute. He doesn't realize it.
Daniel, we can't hear you.
Sorry, my mic was muted. I was like talking and nobody was responding. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I'm right here. I'm right here. What's
Daniel
going
was
on?
probably responding to what I was saying and was like, Kat, you made a lot of mistakes and ended up with that tenant.
Well, you will learn the
Oh,
life.
I learned today. There's
Yeah.
no grace for anyone anymore.
You'll get renters in there though. All right, let's get started. Who we missing? Do we need to message anybody?
How many people are on our team?
21, 20?
We have
Something like that.
17.
Brittany's not here.
I'm here.
Listen,
I'll
Brittany.
message Melissa.
Yeah.
Brittany's probably still celebrating her anniversary.
Let's get started. Hey, if you guys can hear my kids in the background, let me know if it's distracting. I can move to another room. I'm just kind of set up in this room. But be
Move the
honest.
kids to another room.
Huh?
Move the kids to another room.
Yeah, well they're around the corner in the living room and I'm in the like sitting room.
That's
All right, cool. Let's get started. I'm excited. I'm excited about today. And the opportunities. What can we pray for you guys?
I have one.
Okay.
Obviously continued prayers for my mom, but she's doing really well right now. We just gave her a new couch and are getting rid of like her nasty old furniture, but she's doing really well. So just like, thank you for praying for her because she's actually doing okay. She starts her 3rd round of chemo next week. So we'll see how that affects her. She's lost almost all of her hair, but she's really keeping up good spirits. So that's good. But we are listing my personal house. We haven't like given a lot of info on it, but we're listing my personal house hopefully this weekend for sale in Powhatan. And I'm like super excited. And we put in like my face is really gross. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I broke out in like hives all over my face and all over my ankles. And I have like poison ivy everywhere because we've been doing yard work. Oh, it's worth it. I'm okay with it. But we put in so much work. Like, yeah, I'm going to make a post about it like later today or this week about how much work goes into selling your house if you don't keep up with it. Like,
Yeah.
so sorry, that was a spiel, but yeah,
Don't do what I did.
yeah, don't do what my tenants did. They ruined my life. But
What are you listing it for, Ashley? Do you know?
we can talk about it after. I don't want to make like I feel like I'll just call you later, Elena, and tell you about it. But
All right, we'll get a minute for upcoming listings. All right, so your
but
mom.
just yeah, my mom. But I just want to have like if you can just I don't know, give me calmness. I don't know about my listing for my personal house, getting the right buyer in there. I don't know. I'm super nervous about it.
Yes. Okay. What else? Any good stuff? Praises. All right. Well, I'll just pray. Get started. All right, Heavenly Father, God, we love you and praise you. You are a good God, and you're a God of order. You're a God of control, and you are sovereign in control of our lives in this world. And we just thank you and praise you for that. That we don't have to know about everything that's going on. We don't have to worry about tomorrow, as your word says. because tomorrow will have worries of its own, but just to trust in you. And we thank you for that. Thank you for the ability to be able to just to have faith and trust in you and knowing that it's all in your hands. And we just do lift up these things to you right now. Ashley's mom, pray for just healing for her and peace and comfort as she's going through this chemo and the sickness, God, that you would just, I don't know, just heal her, God. We just ask for a miraculous healing on her life and her body, and a continued healing on her and Ashley's relationship. God, we thank you for that, and that you just continue opening doors there and restoring relationships and drawing them closer together in love. And pray for Ashley's house, God, as she asked you to give her just peace and comfort for her, God. Right now, we believe that you will give her direction, give her wisdom, and let it sell quickly so she can relieve that burden off of her shoulders, God. And we pray for any other prayer requests among the team right now that somebody's dealing with that may not be spoken. God, you know the needs, and you know everyone's needs, and you want to meet them. You want to. We believe that's your desire. So, and you just ask if we present our needs to you and make them known to you, God, you will meet them. And we just thank you for that. We love you. And we pray that you bless this meeting, let it be productive, and let us just learn how to do what we do better. God, give us a deeper love and a heart for people, not just transactions and closings, God, but teach us to love people in a greater way. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. All right. Hold on a second. Stag was texting me. Are we having meeting now? Yes.
The link to it is in the team chat if she opens up Hangouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, I'm trying to find the code. Yeah, it usually was in, like, if I logged into my calendar.
So can I go through a quick 5-minute or less training once she joins to show everybody how to add the calendar?
It
Okay.
was on my calendar.
Let her get in.
I just went to my calendar and clicked on it.
Mine wasn't on there.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it usually is on there. And usually if I log into Hangouts, it'll say join meeting, but it wasn't there. Okay, go ahead, Duke. 2 minutes. Go for it.
Okay.
Actually, before we do that, Nance has a devotional, and then we'll hit you.
That's cool. Yeah.
Is that cool? All right, go for it, Nance.
Okay. So a few years ago, I read this book.
Draw the circle. Sweet.
And it's 40-day prayer challenge. And Taylor and Betsy we're all doing it together. We started on April 1st, so we can keep track of the days. So today we're on day 7. So Betsy and Taylor, feel free to jump in whenever you want. But I believe that, reading this book has been amazing for me, and also just really pointing me back to the power of prayer. So when I opened it up today and read the first page, I immediately texted Daniel and was like, can I do the devotion today? Because it was just so inspiring. So I'm going to read the first page to you. It says, I'm just going to read the first paragraph. He's talking about a drought that destroyed a season of crops in a church. And it just made me think of the coronavirus and how, we could have a fear that it's going to dry up our business. So when a drought threatened to destroy a season of crops, a rural church with many farmers in the congregation called for an emergency prayer meeting. Dozens of farmers showed up to pray. We're not actually going anywhere, but you know what I mean. Most of them wore their traditional overalls, but one of them wore waders. He got a few funny looks, just like Noah did when he was building the ark. But isn't that at its finest? If we genuinely believe God is going to answer our prayer for rain, isn't that exactly what we should wear? Why not dress for the miracle? I love the simple childlike faith of that old seasoned farmer. He simply said, I don't want to walk home wet. And he didn't, but everyone else did. So don't walk home wet, basically. Be prepared. It says in here, God is honored when we act as if he is going to answer our prayers. And acting as if he means, after hit our knees and take a step of faith and, think about Noah preparing the ark. And I just wanted to tell you a quick little story about my brother. He is 35 years old, and he was in a gay relationship for 6 years with a man. And I didn't believe for him personally that was God's plan for his life. And I prayed and prayed and prayed for years. And one day, a few years ago, I bought him a wedding card for a lady. And he had no girlfriend at the time. And he is currently married to this girl and has a baby girl of his own. And I gave him the card about a month ago because I forgot to give it to him. I hid it from myself. So anyway, just dress for the best, dress for God's miracles. Just be ready, look out for them. And that's why I'm wearing my fancy earrings today. I'm dressing up for God's goodness and his blessings in our lives. So that's it.
I love it. That's awesome. That's so awesome. I woke up this morning and I told myself that I needed to dress up, even though as if I had somewhere to go, even though I don't. And that's just so true. I mean, I was thinking about that very thought this morning. I said, I don't know where to go, but I'm going to dress up and put on my collared shirt. There's Ford and Spencer. And, fix my hair and, do all that stuff. Put on deodorant, even though I didn't have anywhere to go. But I think it's important to get in that right mindset. And then it's also what you're getting at, Nance, I think, is just living in this mindset of expectation that you believe God's going to do something. You believe he's going to do something. I mean, that's a simple, silly example that I just gave, but your example is great. And I think it's so true that we need to be in the position and be ready for God to pour out his blessings. Because when we come together and we ask him to do that, we got to expect it and you got to be ready for it. And when he does, what are you going to do? Right. So, and I think he honors and I think he blesses the preparation.
And the further I read along, I don't want people to get confused. Like, it has to be in God's will. You're like, I want a Porsche to show up, in my front yard. Like, it definitely has to be in line with God's will.
Sure.
Taylor and Betsy, do you guys have anything to add?
No, I mean, I think you hit it really well.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
You just got to move towards, what you want, and God will follow. And by moving, you mean like dressing up for what you need or what you want.
Putting on earrings. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
It's awesome.
Good job.
All right, cool. Love it. Thank you, Nance. That was good and timely and profound. Thank you. All right, Mr. Duke, what you got?
Okay, let me present my screen real quick, and I'll get to it. So this is how you're going to add the Keaton Company events calendar to your calendar. Usually, if you just go to calendar.google.com, on the left side, it'll show you whatever calendars you have access to or have added to your calendar. You won't see anything unless the checkbox is checked. So right now you see I don't have the Keaton Co. events. I just have this Keaton Co., which I'm actually not sure what that one is, so I'm going to get rid of it. All right. So the way to do this is go to Brokerment, and under useful links, there is this agent resources and training. Can everybody see what I'm showing here? Okay. All right. So if you click on agent resources and training, it takes you to our training site, but this is also where you have all the other resources. On the home page, you can see the actual Keaton Company events calendar. And if you keep scrolling down, it'll show the month view, and then it'll show the schedule view. And then below schedule view, there's this link that says add to your calendar. So if you click here, if you haven't added it, it will give you this pop-up. And then you just have to click on add. If you have added it, which you'll see, let's close this back out. If you have added it and you click on here, it'll just take you to it. And that's it. So then in order to see the events, you just have to make sure that it's checked on the left. And I would recommend just changing it to a color that you don't already use so that there's some good contrast. So when you do have multiple things showing up, I don't know what's going to show up here. Probably nothing. So if you have multiple things showing up, then it'll stand out and you can easily see it. So every time there's an event, when you click on it, it'll have a link to the meeting. So in each event, most events are pretty unique. I think I've made all of our Monday through Friday or Monday, Wednesday, Friday ones. I think they're the same link. Yeah, I think Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays are all the same link. I tried making sure those were all the same. But anyways, so that's how that is to add to your Google Calendar. Pretty simple, straightforward. But in a pinch, if you don't have access to your calendar, you can go to Berkermint and find it here, and then you can do more details, and that'll take you straight to it as well. Hope that was helpful.
Yes. Yeah, I'm doing it right now, but I guess I didn't have the calendar clicked on.
Yeah, it does need to be, the checkbox needs to be checked in order to see what's going on.
And I usually use Apple Calendar.
It will work.
How would you add it to my Apple Calendar, like on my phone?
It should automatically sync in with your Apple Calendar. Let me double check that. See, I don't use Apple Calendar because it's not as easy to give
Mine automatically syncs.
support to.
It does.
It should automatically sync. It may take a little bit of time for Apple Calendar to pick up that stuff, but if you open Apple Calendar at the bottom, there's a button that says Calendars. That's where you'll check on and off whichever boxes you want to see, like whichever calendars you have access to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to stick with as much G Suite stuff since that's what we pay for, and I can provide much better support if I use that on a daily basis.
Okay, cool. All righty. Sounds good. Appreciate that. Mr. Ben, what you got?
Can you all hear me?
Barely.
I'm serious.
Other microphone. The other one.
Yeah,
It's
whatever
like-
you did that one time, we could hear you so well.
It sounds
Then I'm
like,
going to drop ship you a microphone.
What
it
about
sounds
this?
like you're whispering. I mean, we can hear you, but it sounds like you're in another room. To me, anyway.
It sounds like your microphone is 6 feet away from you.
Yeah.
Like that? Can you hear me now?
You have to speak up.
All right, I'm just gonna have to yell. Can you hear me?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. The same wind blows on us all. What matters is not the blowing of the wind, but the set of the sails. So I don't know if any of you have ever been sailing before. Has anybody ever been sailing on a sailboat? A couple people. Okay.
Negative.
Some of you know a little bit about sailing, but from the time I was 5 to 15, every weekend that's what I did. We went sailing every weekend down on the Rappahannock River. And so when you're sailing, you learn a little bit about sails and how to adjust the sails. And so which direction you're heading corresponds to how you need to set the sails, whether you need to let them out or pull them in. If you're going closer to the wind, you got to bring the sails in. If you're going away from the wind, you let the sails out. If you're going opposite direction of the wind, you let the sail way out so that you can get the most sail and capture the most wind. And so when you're sailing, you learn that there's different kinds of ways to set the sail. There's also different sails. There's lightweight sails that are good for when it's not very windy, and then there's some heavier duty sails that you have to use if it's like a storm or really windy. But my dad was very competitive, and so everywhere we went, we had to get there the most efficient way. But even if we were just taking a little cruise to another marina, we had to trim the sails and set the sails all the time. Like we couldn't just let the sails just kind of be as they were. We had to trim the sails wherever we went, and it helped us get to where we were going more efficiently and in a better time frame, right? So that was kind of my dad's competitiveness. And then we used to race when we were down at the marina. We would race with other boats in the marina. We would race with other yacht clubs in the area, and we would always be racing. And so how you set the sails is very important because that's how you would obviously go faster and end up winning the race. And so you would all start at the same spot at the same time, but depending on what kind of boat you were in, you had a handicap. And then when you finished the race, they would take your time, and depending on your handicap, they would adjust and they would decide who won the race. So the only way to win a race, besides what kind of boat you were in, because that was already adjusted, was how you set the sails. Because how you set the sails determine how fast you would go, which would determine your time to get to the finish line. Is all this making sense? Good. So that's how I learned, is how to set the sails. And I learned very quickly that how you set the sails determines which direction you go and how efficiently, how fast you get there. But then there's also times where you're out sailing, cruising around, and a storm comes out of nowhere. And if you're out in the middle of the Chesapeake Bay, we used to go to a lot, and you get to a spot where there's no sight of land, which used to be my favorite thing. I don't know why, but I was obsessed when I was young. Keep looking every direction. I would get so excited when I could yell out, I can't see any land. We were literally in the middle of the water, land nowhere in sight, and a storm comes up. Now what do you do? Right? You really, at that point, need to know how to set the sails, because if you don't put up the right sail, if you don't lower the sails halfway, if you don't do certain things, you're going to be in a heck of a mess, right? And so there was one particular storm that I'll never forget, probably until the day I die, where we turned up, headed up north into the Chesapeake Bay, heading towards, I don't know where, heading up towards New Jersey or something, going out to the Atlantic Ocean. And this storm came upon us, and we're in no sight of land, and it's just me, my mom, and my dad. And my mom froze up. I mean, she completely went out, ghost white, white knuckles, just sitting there holding on to the railing, no good. She could not do anything. And I was probably, 8 or 9 years old. I'm downstairs throwing up because it's literally 20-foot waves, and we're getting tossed all around, and I'm sick. So I'm downstairs getting sick. My dad is holding on to the wheel, barely holding on, and he needs me to go up front and tie down some gas cans that are about to fall off. He needs me to tie down some sails. He needs me to change his sail. As I'm down there doing that, he would yell. I would come up, run up on the boat, go up to the front, tie some stuff down, go back downstairs, continue to do what I do. So this went on for a long time. And eventually we finally got on the right course. We set the sails the right way, and we ended up getting out of the storm. But if we had not set the sails correctly for that storm, we had not weathered that storm with the way we set the sails and held on, we would have been knocked over. Now, the great thing about a sailboat, if you don't know, different than a fishing boat or a speedboat, it has this keel, they call it, on the bottom, this huge weight on the bottom of the sailboat. So that way, no matter how far the wind's tilting you this way, this heavy keel is balancing you this way. Which is why in a storm, it's much better to be in a sailboat than a fishing boat, because a fishing boat is going to go sideways and up and down, where a sailboat is just going to go up and down, and it's going to lock in like this. So once you get the sails set right and you lock in, then you're solid and you're not being tossed left and right. And the sailboat cannot tip over. If it gets knocked down, the keel will automatically turn straight into the wind and pop you right back up. So it's actually a safe place to be on. But if you don't know how to set the sails, you don't know the right direction to go and how to adjust the sails to get out of the storm as quick as you can get in some serious problems sitting in the storm. So it reminds me, when I read this little quote, that the same wind blows on us all. What matters is not the blowing of the wind, but the set of the sails. The storm that we're in right now, the opportunity that we're in right now, everything that's going on right now is the same for everybody. The great thing, if there is a great thing about this virus, is we're all on the same playing field right now. Would you agree? Everybody across the world has the same problem, which to my knowledge has never happened in the history of the world. Everybody's in the same wilderness. Everybody's in the same storm. It doesn't matter who you call. We all have something in common as of today, April 7th, 2020. We all have the same wind blowing on us right now. But it's how we set our sails in this wind that will determine the direction and the efficiency and how fast we get out of this storm. Amen?
Mm-hmm. Last time everybody had the exact same thing happen to them across the world was the flood. Think about that.
Interesting. It's good, Ben. It's good. So how do you set your sails right now?
Are you asking me or everybody?
Anybody.
No.
Let's hear from someone who hasn't talked today.
They don't want to.
Silence for the quiet people.
Jason, how do we set our sails? Who
Yeah,
else is on here?
Who else?
The extroverts do not get to talk all the time.
What about Debbie? Every time she talks, it's really wonderful, and it doesn't happen that often.
Sarah, are y'all here? Are y'all faking it? Is this a
What
fake
about
meeting?
Melissa?
I am just taking in everything that Ben just said because it was so good.
So how do you set your sails for your daily job? We need some inspiration.
I think my biggest thing at the beginning, the first week when all of this happened, I was really nervous and scared because I didn't see how I was going to continue making phone calls and making appointments. And I think the next week, just talking to Ben a little bit and Daniel really helped me get in the mindset of what you actually just talked about, Rachel, earlier, was just expecting it to happen. And I'm praying that it is God's will, that I can still be successful and still make my appointments. But I'm just expecting it to happen. I'm expecting that I'll make a couple appointments today. I have the motivation that I will. And I just keep that up every day. And that's just how I'm getting through this and how I'm setting my sails, baby.
That's awesome.
I have a question for you, Sarah. Are you home with your son and your husband, or is it you and your son there all day?
It's usually me and my son here all day. Rex actually still has to work. They changed his schedule, so now he has to work 12-hour days. So he leaves about 2:30 in the morning and doesn't get home until about 4 or 5.
Oh my goodness.
But
Yeah.
how are you? Okay, so how are you dealing with that? Because I'm really struggling with being here with a 1-year-old all day.
Oh my gosh.
How are you doing it?
Well, so I've been really blessed because Rex's mom does help me out like a couple of days a week. I can get her to watch Cordell for me. And that's when I get most of my work done. But when he's here, I honestly literally take him outside with my computer and let him run around, play in the pool, play with the dogs while I'm kind of working a little bit in the mornings. But I'm giving myself breaks. So I'll get his tablet and get him to sit down for like an hour and have his quiet time to himself and like watch his tablet or play in his room while I can work. And then we'll go outside for an hour and take like a little break. I've been working later in the evenings, but that's kind of what's been working for us a little better.
That's
Cool.
very similar to what I
Good.
do too.
Go. What did you say, Laura?
I said that's very similar to what I do too. I let the kids go outside and play, and I basically just tell them they've got to stay in the backyard where I can see them, because they like to go in the back, and then they also like to go in the front, and then they end up halfway down the street. But if I make them stay in the backyard and I sit up on the deck on my computer, that's like a good time where I can like pretty much focus until somebody falls off the swing or whatever. But besides that, and then we'll have like tablet time.
I was gonna say that I don't know like how you are with screen time, but like since our kids are so little, like I wish we could just say go outside and play for a little bit, but like that's not possible yet for us. But like I'm typically not big on screen time for him, but I've just been giving myself grace with that. Like Disney Plus is a thing. Like we have watched Frozen 2 every day because sometimes like me and Brett are both home, but we're both working like a lot. So sometimes we just need to like let him in the living room. Like we have a gate that can break it off so he can't wander out, and let him watch Frozen 2 while I get something done or make calls and I mean, he'll be fine. Like it's not the best thing sometimes, but I mean, he will not be harmed by watching some Disney Channel. So sometimes,
Amen.
you know what I mean?
Same way.
Oh, don't let them see the screen. But like, we have to just get through the day. And whether you're big on it or not, like if you need to just give yourself a break, like she'll be okay if you let her watch it just like a little bit. And you may be totally fine with it. But I know some parents, there's just like this.
I don't even know how to work the television in this room. I literally don't know how to work our TV. That's the level of screen time. So maybe I'm unprepared in that
Disney
aspect.
Plus has saved us. It really has. Like, and normally we're really not like, because we're with him but we've had that time to designate to him because we've got our work done during the workday and then it's time for our kid. But like those times are so mushed together now, it gets really, really overwhelming. And I found peace in Frozen 2. So might want to just look into it.
this is what I kind of tell myself is like, either way, you're going to have some kind of guilt. If you don't put the effort
Yes.
and the time in and designate that time to your work, you as a mom are going to feel like you're not providing for your family. And at the same time, you've got to have something for your kids to do during that time. And if you use screen time, you know, and there's such a stigma attached to that, you feel guilty about that. But at some point, and like for me, this is kind of always the case. Like my life hasn't really changed other than I'm having to also have my husband home and we're having to like work out of the same space. But this is just, nothing's really changed for me. But like somewhere you have got to give yourself some grace. Like you can't feel guilty about everything because you're only one person.
And I've thought about, I'm so glad all y'all moms are on here. And I've thought about my nanny who have been using until now. She's been like really good with the quarantining and stuff. And I've thought about having her come over here some, but then I'm like, then there's guilt with like, even if someone's being really careful, doesn't mean they can't bring something into your home. And I'm pregnant. And like, what if I'm putting my family at risk? So I haven't had childcare because I just don't know if like that's something that's worth the risk to do that.
If it's going to give you more anxiety, I don't know, because I feel like you already have a decent amount like with this and being pregnant and worrying about like the birth and all that. It might be harder mentally, you know, to like, cause like, yeah, it might feel good to get some work done that day. But then like, if you're like me, like if I have to go to the grocery store, I'll feel good about getting food for my family. But then when I get home, I'll have a panic attack about like, oh my gosh, but what if I contracted something? And then I just brought it home. And then I'm like a wreck for the next 24 hours. Thinking about what happened from going to the grocery store. So I don't know. I would just try I would try looking at like, you know, other options and embracing new things. Like maybe like take 30 minutes today and figure out the TV and maybe just start giving her like 30 minutes. Let her just watch, like there's some nursery rhyme shows on Netflix on like a kid's Netflix account where it just plays nursery rhymes with like illustrations in the background. So it's not as much like, I mean, it's TV, but it's not like TV. I don't know. It's a lot of nursery rhymes. So like maybe give her like 15 minutes and just let her like see if for 15 minutes, like give yourself these small little breaks and see how it works. Because like me, we're really big on like cooking our food from home, all organic, chemical free. I make my own soap. Like it's ridiculous. But I'm like, I can't do everything. I can't make him 3 organic meals a day from scratch and get work done and not let him watch TV and give him all of my attention and make sure the house is clean and the pets and walk the dog. It's like, no, I'm going to lose my mind. Like I'm going to lose my mind. Like some days he has to eat chicken nuggets. And yes, they are organic chicken nuggets, but they are chicken nuggets from the freezer. So, I mean, like it happens. Like sometimes you just have to like give yourself a break and like it will be okay.
Yeah, this whole thing being a parent in real estate, and I think especially a mom in real estate too. But I know dads are dealing with this stuff too. Y'all should have a support group called Moms in Real Estate. I'm telling you.
I was thinking the same thing. At least for our own, you guys should have like a separate meeting because it's like moms.
I'm super down with that.
Y'all really need to do it. You really should, even if it's just a few of you.
And Nance, you can't join because your kids are too old.
How about moms with annoying teenagers? Is there anyone?
You'll be moms in real estate who kids should be grown.
That's like the graduate level. When your kids grow, you graduate to the next level of moms.
Rachel, you could come be like a speaker and like tell us how to get through it.
Well, yesterday TC came in here with no shirt on. Were y'all on the meeting with me? Who was I talking to? Oh, it was my Bible on Zoom. He came in here with no shirt on and started printing stuff on my cardstock that I had for real estate flyers. Just like flying out, just papers. I was like, what are you doing? So our problems are just very different.
Awesome. All right. I love it. That's good. somehow Ben Sailing got into moms and real estate, but I love it. That's good. That's good talks. All right. So for the last 30 minutes, I want us to go over what we've learned and who has learned something from Boomtown and do a screen share, if you wouldn't mind. And I'm looking at you specifically, Elena and Sarah, because y'all have been doing the trainings. Actually, I think Jason, 3 people have been doing training so far, those 3 people. But if y'all have learned anything and played around with it, I do know, Elena can verify this, you were at 18 leads from the thing you did last time. 18 leads. Yeah. So, we were talking about it yesterday.
I would like Elena to show us how she did that.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure it's in one of the videos, but I do not feel like going to find it.
Yeah. So she
didn't use a video. I mean, I'll show you how I did it, but I typed in my browser, my website, like the HTTPS Elena Atkinson at Keenan Company. And I literally just copied it and then I pasted it into Facebook, like as a post, and then wrote what I wanted to say about it. And then from the post that I put on my page, you can share it to other groups. So I can like show you guys how I did that. But I don't know if Boom might have like a specific way to do it. That's what worked for me.
Yeah, it's really simple.
So what's on the website? Is it like Zillow basically on everybody's website?
It's a search website and it's a forced registration.
Oh, that's
so it locks them in and it makes them have to fill their information in, and then you get their information. So hypothetically, a lot of people would see it and then see that registration and move away. But that's fine. Like, you don't want to just give people free pictures. Like, you want to get something out of it. And then a lot of people who give their information, not a majority, but a lot of them are not good information. But here's the thing. I'll give you a real quick overview. I was telling, I guess, Elena or somebody yesterday about this, but I think it was Elena, or maybe Rachel. So the difference between these leads, I can't remember, these leads in Facebook and Zillow. Okay. So Facebook are people who are very, very early on in the pipeline of buying a house. These people are not even searching for homes necessarily. They're just, sorry, Rick keeps texting me. They're just basically scrolling through Facebook, and then they're interrupted. Their day is interrupted because you see an ad and they say, oh, that might be interesting to look at homes like this. And yeah, I'll click on that and I'll go. Okay, I'll look at it. But they're very early on in the process. Okay, so our goal is to close up to 2% of those leads, 1 out of 50. If you know the numbers, then you know that you get less discouraged, right? But you also know that it's a numbers game. So in order to close 1 out of 50, you've got to give full effort to 100 of them and hope you close 2. You can't give partial effort to 25 and 75% effort to 50 of them. No, in order to close 1 out of 50, you got to give 100% effort to a big bulk of number. And that's multiple attempts, multiple follow-ups, whatever. So that's Facebook, okay? Now these leads, a lot of them that will come through Boomtown, it'll say Boomtown paid. So we're paying for leads that are Google searches. So what's happening is people search things like homes for sale in Short Pump, homes for sale in Goochland, Mechanicsville, whatever, all this kind of stuff. And then at the top of the page is a paid ad. They click on it and it comes to your Boomtown page. And so these people are a little bit further on the process. So remember, the Facebook people are like, I'm just, it's a passive thing and I see something interrupt my day. Sure, I'll click on this ad. These people are proactively clicking on a search, looking for homes, okay? And so they're a little bit further on the process. So the goal is to close, their average is between 3.5% and 4.5%, okay? So again, you're still looking at 1 out of 20, 25 or so, 1 out of 25 to close, right? But in order to get 1 out of 25, there's going to be 50% of them you never talk to, and then maybe of the 50% that you do talk to, 25% maybe has an agent, and then you narrow. But you got to do the work to narrow it down. Okay, but hypothetically, even at 4.5%, it's more than twice the closing rate of our Facebook leads that we've been doing, right? But even still, it takes some effort, takes some work, right? It takes some work to nurture them, takes 7 reach out to. The training, guys, is so good. I do the training, first of all, I want everybody to do the training before the end of, before the end of next week, because we get a discount. They won't discount us if we don't do the training. Everybody has to do the training, and it's the live training that's counted. But the training is so good. I was just going through some of it, and they've got this down to a science. They talk about the conversion rate, the speed to lead. If you call somebody after 5 minutes, if you call them within 5 minutes, your chances of conversion are 400% higher. 400%. I mean, these people are like writing the book on lead generation, online lead conversion. They talk about lead generation is not the key. Lead generation is not the answer. The answer and the key is lead conversion. There's never a shortage of leads. There's only a shortage of people willing to put the work into it. And this is the stuff that they talk about. So they're getting you in the right mindset. And I'm telling you guys, so y'all can get in the right mindset so that when you get a few and they don't convert, you don't get discouraged. You keep going. But Elena, so she did a method where she put this ad out there, followed exactly what we recommended, the idea, social distancing special on 18 acres. I think, guys, honestly, to be a good marketer, you got to start thinking about what people are thinking of right now. I mean, I'm sitting in my house and, we've got a little land around us, and Alan Price came over here a few days ago to shoot guns. And he did, we kept our distance and we shot guns and stuff like that. But he's like, you know what? You probably don't feel confined here because you have all this space to move around. And it's like, that's so true. I didn't think about it. But if somebody lives in a tight-knit neighborhood or in the city or something like that, and they have this virus and they want to be away from people and they're getting cabin fever, some people are going to start thinking like, I want to spread out and get a little more land. What would it be like? There's this page I'm a member of on Facebook called Farming on 5 Acres or something like that. I mean, it is like blowing up. It is blowing up. So I was just following that vein and thinking about like, okay, now people are going to want to start moving out to the country, I think, more than ever. So she did this and it blew up this ad. So she created a link, put it on different Facebook groups, and then like got 18 free leads, right? Otherwise, you pay anywhere from $10 to $20 for that. So what would so 18 times, that's $180 worth of leads or more, $300 and some worth of leads if you go on the high end of it. So I mean, it's amazing. So this website gives you guys the tools. Not only we're going to get leads, paid leads, but you can create your own stuff, and then you bring people to the page and you watch their activity. Elena, I'll let Elena talk a little bit about it because she's watching all these people's activity. And I'll let you, maybe Elena, if you can show what you did to do it, and then how you're watching the activity, if you can share your screen. I don't know. Do you know how to do that?
Yeah. I'm going to hit present, but I haven't done it on this before. So just let me know if you can see me.
Okay, cool.
Sure. Chrome wants to share your contents. Yes. Oh, have to click the screen. Never mind. There we go. All right. Can you guys see me?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So pretty much, let me log into my Facebook real quick. So what I did was I just logged into my Facebook, and then I logged into the Elena Atkinson at Keaton and Company. So it's your first name, last name, period, Keaton and Company spelled out.com. And then it brings me to my site. It's got my picture, my contact info on it. So from here, I went down to the listing that I chose to show. I clicked on it so that I got on like that particular listings page. And then I just copied the link. And then I put literally what's on your mind. So I pasted the link there, and then I just like moved it down a little bit and wrote what I wanted to say, and then I shared it. So once I shared it to my personal Facebook page, I could then share it to all my other groups. So
it says, I have a question. So it says you have 8 shares. I meant to ask you about this the other day when we talked. So is each share, so like it says 8, right? So that means you shared it to RVA Moms, Richmond Realtors, whatever. You shared it to each page. Those are the 8 shares, not other people sharing it.
So my sister-in-law shared it, shared
okay.
the link for me, and my mother-in-law also, like, they'll typically, if I share something on Facebook, they'll typically share it too, just to like gain more traction. So 2 of them were probably them. And then the other shares were like, or yeah, it'll tell me. So like Dan Jacob, that was my dad, me, my sister, and then 5 more. So the 5 more are probably me. So if you hit share, you can hit share to a group or share to a page. So like I did share to group, and then I clicked on it, and then
Yeah,
from
because I saw yours in a bunch of places, and I was okay, cool.
And
thanks.
literally all you have to click is share. Like you don't have to redo the whole post. You just click share. And then that post that you shared once is now on all of those sites.
I do have a quick question for either Elena or Daniel. I don't know if this is a stupid question. So on our website, it shows a bunch of different properties from the MLS. Are we allowed to share any of them, or does it have to be the Keaton and Company?
If you're sharing individual listings, you're technically supposed to only share our company's listings.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. This is the weird thing. Honestly, it's like you can share a list of homes, like from your page. So you can. I'm assuming we can do this. We can create a list. Let's say like you want to create a list of here are homes over 5 acres in Hanover County, and you can share that. But sharing an individual listing could be a violation because you're appearing to be the listing agent for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So like, and then, so another thing that I've been doing with Boomtown is like the leads that got transferred into me, like from Follow Up Boss. I put this in the chat the other day, but I didn't know if anyone knew what I was talking about. Like once they put in these leads, it doesn't automatically send them like a welcome email. So like, here's one that I haven't done yet. It says this lead has not yet received an invitation. If you'd like to send an invitation, click below. So like you click send invite, and it sends them this email saying, please check out your free account on our home search, blah, blah, blah. And it basically gives them a link that they can register to, just like the one on Facebook. And then they'll start searching homes. Most of them, a lot of people that like never answered my phone calls would still pull up that site after I sent them the link and would start looking. So like yesterday I sent it to one guy, and I saw like he clicked it as soon as I sent it to him. So I was like, okay, well, he's obviously like on his phone or something. So I went ahead and called him again, and I've had him in my system for a while. And he never answered my phone calls, but he answered. We talked for 30 minutes. He is looking to buy. Like first he told me it was going to be a year, but then he was like, but we looked at a house a couple months ago and we had a new build starting, but we backed out of it because it got so expensive. And long story short, like if they found a house that they liked, they would move. They haven't found something, I guess, that they like enough yet. So then he started searching on our website, and it shows you. So like recent website visits, this is the link that I emailed him. He looked at 17 properties this time at 11:30, one property at 10:45. And then today he got on again, looked at another property, and it'll show you all of the website visits, every property that they've looked at, whether they've emailed it, like it'll say sent to a friend. So like I know he's emailing these houses to his wife to see if she likes it. It says asked a question, because this morning while we were on our team meeting, he's been texting me through Boomtown like questions about these homes. And then loan calculated. So there's a loan calculator also built into the site that he was using to see like, hey, what would my payment be? So this was a guy who never answered my phone calls before.
Yeah, Elena, if I can just jump in, sorry, real quick. I'm just looking at Follow Up Boss. So he came in, your Follow Up Boss, through a Facebook ad that Brett Chambers paid for. And you texted him, and he replied to the auto text. And he said, you can text, I'm just looking, I'm not looking to buy anything yet. and then you applied to that. What type of homes are you interested in? Do you have any particular area in mind? No response. You called him the next day. No answer, no response. You dump him into Boomtown, and now all of a sudden he's engaged. I mean, how many times do we leave the leads? You know, that's 3 different communication attempts. Actually, with the email, that's 4 where it was silent. And then on, you know, giving them resources, giving them the MLS and stuff like that, the 6th and 7th attempt, all of a sudden you're talking with them 30 minutes, and you know what I'm saying? So it just goes to show that you got to keep going with these people. You got to keep going, and this website will give you the tools to engage them again.
And I mean, these people that like aren't answering, and some of them still are not answering me, but they did click the site. They are looking on the site, and it'll tell me that. So like, I got another one later, I think it was a little bit ago, someone who's never talked to me at all, but did click the email for the site that I sent them the invitation to. And then now they're forwarding like the emails over to their husband to see if they like it. And it's just honestly probably a matter of time before she sends me a question, just like Bernard did, saying like, hey, can you send me info on this? So, I mean, it might not help right now, but at a certain point, if they keep getting these notifications from Boomtown, like there's a new listing and they see something they like, your name is right there. Like, it's just convenient for them to call you instead of having to look up somebody else. Or like on Zillow, you need to hit like 5 buttons to try, and you think you're calling the listing agent, but it's not. It's an automated system who sends you to like a random person. And with Boomtown, like it gives you your picture and your info, and it's right there, and it's just easy. So I think out of people just being lazy natured, which is just how it is sometimes, like it's just easy. So if you make it easy for them.
It's important to update your profile like Lena did with your picture and then a little bit of a blurb about you, so that as they're searching these listings, your face and your blurb are right there. So it's like they know you and they get to know you, and just kind of passively. So another, a couple of points with this too. I mean, similar to what we teach and preach with Follow Up Boss is, you want to have just a few things. Every person should be on some kind of action plan. So Follow Up Boss called them action plans, but Boomtown calls them smart drips, right? Smart drips. So while, yes, there's an added element now that we're watching and we're providing listings to them, just like kind of the MLS does. But now we have that, but we also there's nothing that will replace a phone call and a personalized text. But the smart drips is a combination of reminders to call them, auto text. It will actually do auto text throughout the process, and then emails. So every person should be on a smart drip. If you want to convert bulk groups of people, put every person on a smart drip. If you want to lose potential deals, don't put every person on a smart drip. So there's no way to keep track, with the internet lead game. You have to be able to coordinate a big group of people. So think about this. So these people are registering. This is another thing they talk about on the training. But you have to understand, just because they're registered on your site doesn't mean that they're not registered on 7 other agent sites. They're doing this. They're filling in their information. And it's the agent that's going to consistently follow up, is going to be the one that's going to set the hook, show them great service, provide great service. That's how you get them. You can't just assume I got 100 people in my Boomtown account. I'm the only ones that they're looking at. I'm the only site that they have. But they've registered probably on several other sites, but you have to be the one to rise up and do that. So every person on a smart drip, and no unchecked to-dos. They call them to-dos, to-do lists. I don't think they call it task lists, like Follow Up Boss calls it task lists. So as long as every person's on there, it'll remind you to do it. So they have all these smart drip plans. You can hover over it and you click preview. Let's see if I can share real quick.
While you're doing that, Sarah's showing her face. Everyone should say hi to Sarah. I'm so excited to see her.
Hi.
I messaged her and was like, you need to show us what you look like. I miss you. So she came on with her face.
Oh.
I have a quick question about the live trainings, because they happen at the same time as some of our live trainings.
Yeah, I
Oh,
signed up
really?
for them. I'm taking one today at noon and then tomorrow at 10. And yeah, they do happen.
Well, maybe we just do that. Well, no, see, tomorrow. Who's on tomorrow?
Me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to take.
Are you able to
on
take
there.
some time?
On there.
Can we move Cats back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you cool with that, Kat?
Yeah. I would rather. I mean, I need to do the trainings too. So.
All right.
Can I ask another question? Yeah. So like, there's training today, tomorrow, the next day. You have to sign up for them. They're at 10 and 12. But I think so. Maybe sometimes they're not at 10, but I don't know. The next question I have is, how did you get your picture? How do you get your picture on your website?
Are you watching my screen? This teaches you in the training. Nance, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Over here, top right, my profile.
Uh-huh.
So I have a
And this
question.
is you update your URL.
Okay.
You update your URL there. Add your profile picture, which I need to do it. And then, your info, additional emails, awards designation, professional bio, something brief, signature, all that stuff right there. Does that
What
make
if you
sense?
have, so I paid for a domain like a year ago and 2 years ago, and I still have it. I don't even use it because I used to use it for Woody Hog. Can I link that somehow to this too and have?
Yeah. So you would, let's say it's rachelnance.keatonandcompany.com. You would go and route. You can't do it in Boomtown, but you would route your domain, whatever hosts your domain, to that URL.
Okay.
Called forwarding.
Yeah. Forwarding. Yep.
Also,
and then how do all the Follow-Up Boss leads get into Boomtown?
They're about to. I submitted them last Friday, and they said 1 to 2 business days. So if they're not in there today, I'm going to reach out to them. I've already reached out to them this morning. So
I only have like 17 out of like the 90 that were in.
Yeah, I did a test of 100 of them. I did a test of 100 like 4 or 5 days ago, and that's what those original ones were. Now, so when they go in here, guys, they're all going to go on this bulk. They're all going to get that email. They're all going to get the email that says, I've set up a new search portal for you so you can search homes online.
I don't think it does.
Engagement, huh?
I don't think it does. Like none of mine that were bulk imported, none of them got that email. I had to basically go.
Yeah, the new bulk will. Yeah, the first 100 was just a test. I didn't set that auto email on it.
I was going to say, I
When
had to go in and click.
the 9,500 names go in at any moment, hopefully today, whatever you had in Follow-Up Boss, they're going to get that email. And the only things that are saved, guys, are the notes and the stages. So the stages we had to modify in Follow-Up Boss a little bit. It took a couple days to do that to match the stages here. But for reference of the stages, make sure you look at the email that I sent you guys on the stages and what they mean. And so we can all be consistent. But this is so good. I mean, I'm telling you guys, they have this down to a science. Just registered, never contacted, tempted, but no dice. Keep trying until you succeed. Watch is contacted, but long-term prospect. Nurture, contacted 3 to 6 months. Hot, ready to buy within 30 days. Deals in the process of being closed. I mean, it's just they break everything down for you. So anyway, so going back in here, so Elena got a lead. Let's see, Irving Pervil. So you can click in here. They've never visited the site, but it shows you so much information about them. It's so great. Okay, so here's where you add the smart drip plans. So if you add the plans, all this stuff. Why do we only have 4 different?
So like there's
This
the
one on mine has like
more.
20. Huh?
If you click add plan on the side, you see how
Yeah, but it's not. Okay, I'm going to figure out what's going on. But if you click preview, was this something that you put in here, Elena?
What?
This lead?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, I'll look into it. So if you click preview, it tells you all what happens on these action plans. So you can know what to put on it. It'll say text, example script, hope you're enjoying a new home. I'll be checking in every few months to keep in touch. Oh, this is for a closed buyer. So you can see this is closed. But anyway, it shows you what's happening on the smart drip. Bulk import, buyer, seller, closed. For some reason, it's only giving me the closed options. Let me see if I can find another one. It gives me more. Oh, it says that was an import. Oh, I think they're starting to come.
Okay, that's
Maybe.
probably why then.
Yeah, it says it's an import. Okay, Bernard Hewlett. I think I'm in Elena's leads right now. So right here, add a plan. Oh, shoot, it's the same thing. For some reason they're only showing me 4, but there's like 20 of them.
Go back to where you were, and now click Add Smart Drip Plan.
Yeah, I know, but it's only giving me these 1, 2, 3, 4 options.
Isn't that because didn't you narrow it down yesterday? Or you didn't do that yet?
I hadn't
Oh.
yet.
Weird.
Yeah.
I just assumed you did.
No. There's something going on. I'll figure it out. But typically there's a bunch of them there, and it'll be like qualify because it'll match up to the stage, right? It'll be like qualify, watch, nurture, whatever, and you can pick the plan that you want to put them on. And there's actually ones where they have ratings, and here we go. This one has all of them for some reason. So right here, new first response for buyers, 2020 archive action with auto text, and then if you want to know what it does, obviously this is a closed one. So I would put, if this person hasn't been gotten in touch with, qualify action plan with auto text, 14-day process, right? Call, tells you to call the first day, and then it tells you what to do. Listen, guys, it's like a coaching. Before call, check to see if e-alert or email has been opened. If lead has been back in the site fairly, ask the LP Mama qualifying questions. Remember that. Lender, price. Okay. Loan price, I guess mortgage. I can't remember what these were. I'll have to look them up again. It was like time frame, obviously, location, price, motivation was one of the M's. So we'll go over LP Mama. I'll send you guys that. But anyway, again, it takes you through this. Do they have an e-alert? Yes. Then do this one. If no, send them this text. I mean, it tells you and it breaks it all down. This is how they get the internet lead conversion so much better than people doing it on their own, where it's like under 1%. I'll tell you guys, our first year of internet lead conversion, we were doing it as a team when we had like 4 people, was 0.3%. So 3 out of every 100, 3 out of every 1,000 people we converted. They've gotten it to 3 to 4.5% on average. He said some of the people are 7 and 8% because they're just on top of this stuff. So just follow what they do. I mean, it tells you exactly what to do. Send this text, boom. Actually, some of these are automatic texts, actually.
I have a question.
So you look at your to-dos. Yes.
For the, it got lost in my emails, so I found it. So we just need to take those 3 live trainings for you to get the discount, right? That's like the main thing we need to do, like immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. It said like in the email you can dive deeper to do like other trainings, but I just want to make sure. So we just all need to do
Yeah. There's tons and tons of trainings, but just the main ones that I want everybody to do is those live ones.
So if we do the one today at noon, there's still like 30 spots left. So if we all do that, we can. And then we're moving Kat's thing tomorrow, so we can do that one. There's one on Thursday. That's all we need to do, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so, right, Nance? Because you sign up for the ones this week. Was there one yesterday?
No, just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's it.
Okay, that's what I just did.
Cool.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. Thanks.
So the bulk import should be coming in, so we'll be able to see all that. But anyway, any questions, thoughts on this? We're going to be learning a lot about it as we're going. Sarah, do you have any thoughts? I know you've been doing some of the trainings.
Definitely do the trainings because it starts from the get-go, how to build your profile, how to do all that stuff, and it gives you a little more insight. One thing I just noticed from looking at Elena's webpage was that when you click on the home, or when the person looking clicks on the home, there's an option that is a virtual chat for the over website with the agent. They can request to do, So I thought that was pretty cool.
So a little pop-up comes and like, do you have questions on this listing or something like that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I would say do that. They're a little time consuming because there's like 7 of them and they can take a little bit to go through, but They're really, really good. And they even have like some questions on there that you can, what's the word? The computer does like little,
Prompting.
Yeah, like scenarios. That's the word. Little scenarios that you can dive into so you really know what you're doing.
Awesome. Cool. All right, it's 10:30. Well, as we learn, if you guys learn something, feel free, please share it in the group chat, and just say, hey, this is what happened. As a side note, Duke, can you look into this? I think they're going to move us from Google Meets to, what was the new one, Nance, that you sent a message on? Is like Google Team Meets or something like that.
It was so weird. It was just like all of a sudden it just disappeared from my bar. And then before you all got on the meeting, Duke fixed it and put it back up. But I was like, where is it? I couldn't even find it at all. And then
Are you talking about Hangouts?
Well, it's Hangout. It's Hangouts Meets or something like that. So they're phasing out Hangouts for companies. I read an article June 2020, and they're pushing everybody to this new thing, which is like their answer to Slack.
So it's called Meet. We all have access to it now. I just use Hangouts because it's just what I've been using. But yeah, so you access it kind of the same way you would access anything Google. You just go to meet.google.com.
Wait, that's what we're doing right now. It's not that one. It's something else.
I can't help that I'm on the cutting edge of technology. Duke, if you need a training, just let me know.
Yeah.
Rachel, you're the best.
It's chat. Yeah, that's what it is. Hangouts chat.
You're gonna have to access my computer from virtual distance because I have no idea how I got on it.
Okay. All right, sounds good. All right, and we're gonna get y'all the schedule for the for those of you guys on the leads on the schedule there. So, and then we're gonna work into this. We're gonna go learn as we go. So,
how's Suzanne?
Go ahead, Nance.
I was just wondering how Suzanne Keaton was doing. Does she like us? Is there anything we can do to help her?
He says doing this job gives her a new level of value in her life, where when you get older, you feel like you don't have it. That's what she told me.
Well, I would like to tell her that she has the best cursive I've ever seen ever.
Writing.
I have asked Suzanne before about doing Daniel's number stuff, if she genuinely wants to do it, because I was like, if she says no, I'm gonna tell him. And she was like,
about doing what?
Your numbers and your accounting and stuff.
She's so cute.
Do you really want to do that? She was like, yes, I need that to stay sharp, and my mind needs to be doing these things.
Yeah, she does like to keep sharp. That is important. But yeah, she's doing fine. But don't hesitate if you guys need her number or something like that. If you're trying to, if you're wondering where check is, Taylor had a check that was mailed and I think got lost in somewhere. Oh my goodness! Hey girl. Hey, what's going on?
Hi, friend.
Hi, Kyla.
Hi. Has anyone? Have people been doing the agent of the day?